With independence, the United States needed to actually have a national government, and we're going to see our first national government under what's known as the Articles of Confederation. Before the Articles were ratified, it was this Continental Congress that would meet regularly through the Revolution and labor to establish this necessary national government. And the central theme of what is going to occur can be summed up in this sentence. Each state retains its sovereignty, freedom, and independence, and every power, jurisdiction, and right which is not by this confederation expressly delegated to the United States in Congress assembled. What does that mean? Well, it should sound familiar to us. It's the 10th Amendment. Basically, the 10th Amendment says that any power not given to the federal government is going to be retained to the states. Pull out your wallet and look at your driver's license. What is it? What does it say? The United States of America on it? No, it says Texas on it, or whatever state you are in, because of the fact that the Constitution doesn't give the right to regulate driving to the federal government. For those of you that are married, look at your marriage license. What does it say? On the very top of it, does it say United States of America? No, it doesn't. It says whatever state you got married in. Mine says state of Texas, because of the fact that marriage is a state issue when it comes to the Constitution. But what the Articles of Confederation is going to do is it's going to create a loose confederation of autonomous states. These are actually, these are states that are bound together in this amorphous substance, to be quite honest. And they get together, yeah, okay, whatever. And then they go do their own thing. It's very loosely constructed. It's kind of like Europe after the fall of the Roman Empire. They're just like, yeah, we're here, we live in the same spot, we speak the same language, we occasionally get together, and then we move our separate ways. The central government of the United States under the Articles, therefore, was very weak. There's no national judiciary. There's no executive branch. Really, the only authority within the national government is the Congress, and it's restricted with a whole bunch of safeguards. For example, each state had one vote in Congress. In our Congress, we have, for example, it's the House of Representatives decided by population, and of course, each state has two senators. But each state in this Congress is going to have one vote. State legislatures are going to choose these delegates, and they could only serve for 3 years out of every 6. And they were obedient to the states, and they could be recalled at any time if they ever messed up. Now, the federal government under these articles had the power to conduct foreign policy and to also arrange for national defense. They could declare war. They could conduct foreign affairs, negotiate with Native Americans, settle disputes between the states. But the problem is that they had no authority to raise troops or to impose taxes. Rather, in order to raise money, the federal government had to ask the states for money. This is kind of like when you were growing up, if your parents asked you for the allowance rather than the other way around. And if you wanted a military, well, you needed to ask the states to bring them all together into one army. Now, one of the things that's going to it's going to be a problem is going to be the fact that the ratification requirements are extremely unrealistic and almost, impossible to achieve. Every single state needed to ratify the Articles of Confederation in order for it to go into effect, and every single state had to actually ratify anytime you tried to change it. We're going to see how the federal government is going to try to change the Articles of Confederation, but both times it's going to fail, mainly because of the fact that not every state says yes. So it's not going to be ratified until 1781, and Maryland is the last state to accept. And the delays in ratification were mainly over land disputes and states claiming lands granted them from their royal charters. But nonetheless, the Articles of Confederation creates what we call a loose confederation of autonomous states. It's not this overpowering federal government that we are more used to in terms of being a lot more powerful. In fact, the states are in charge when it came to the United States government during this early period.